It's been 2 years since I've last made a video, and it honestly feels really weird to be back into the flow of YouTube stuff again. Some context behind why I didn't upload for a while was that I was finishing up my remaining semesters in college as a computer science major. And if you've personally experienced the major or even know somebody that has experienced it, then you know how stressful it can be. After a few months after the release of Gundam Versus, it got pretty difficult to juggle the computer science work while also having to deal with working at an internship, dealing with college club stuff, and making videos all at the same time. So I had to tap out of the YouTube scene for a while to keep my sanity in check. But fast forward to my life after graduation, I was able to land a job as a software engineer, which is great because I really worked myself too hard to find a job before I graduated. So after a few months on the job, I believe I'm now in a comfortable point in my life now where I can return to making videos for the franchise I love the most in the world, which is of course Gundam. And luckily for me, I came back just in time for the Maxi Boost ON closed beta, something the younger version of myself would have liked to play a lot sooner than 2020, but it is what it is. So in a way, this video is also being made as homage to the younger me that wanted Maxi to be ported for a very long time. It's kind of funny to see myself back then to have so much wishful thinking to always want the latest Extreme Versus arcade title to be ported. But that's part of the fun of being a NA player for a game that is primarily in Japan, I suppose. On the bright side, it is good to start seeing Bandai Namco interact with its Western audience a bit more by regularly sharing each Versus game they release with us as well. With the release of Maxi coming to us soon, I'm just relieved that I can finally put down Gundam Versus because I'm honestly getting tired of inputting step dives so much. From my perspective, after playing thousands of matches in Gundam Versus, I found that step diving in general made the game a lot more annoying to play, since people could get away with garbo movement a lot. In fact, I'm pretty sure the muscle memory that I picked up by playing Gundam Versus for a very long time might actually have a negative effect on me when I try out the Maxi Boost ON beta, which is a game that goes back to the traditional Extreme Versus gameplay that many people such as myself prefer. Despite many people hating Gundam Versus for the many flaws that it had, I still found Gundam Versus to be fairly interesting because they weren't afraid to try out new things. And when I say try out new things, I primarily mean adding never before seen things such as the boost dive mechanic, or even allowing the player to pick an assist from a universal assist roster, which was referred to as strikers. I know this game gets a lot of shit, but it wasn't the worst Gundam game Bandai Namco has ever created, in all honesty. So even after the many gripes that I did have when playing Gundam Versus, I do want to say that I genuinely was satisfied playing the game overall. But the reasons why I was satisfied playing Gundam Versus may not be what you think they are. The main reason why I was okay with Gundam Versus in the end was simply because it brought pure growth to the Western fanbase by attracting so many different new people to the Gundam scene. With this being the first Versus related Gundam game on the PlayStation 4, this naturally attracted many newcomers to the scene that I enjoyed meeting and interacting with. It even went as far as being supported by Bandai Namco at Anime Evo when the game was released, which was blessed by the presence of the god himself, Cyrus, the fearless driver. I feel like this game gets a little too much hate like it's the second coming of Force, but I want to emphasize that this game also brought awareness to the NA Gundam community, which is what we all should want at the end of the day. Ever since the game released on day one, so many new faces popped up every month, and that's really good for us as a community, and I want that to get better over time. So with that being said, I want to talk about my personal opinion regarding the whole purpose of Gundam Versus' existence real quick, which may give reasons why Bandai Namco made what they made. Ever since Bandai Namco essentially ghosted the NA fanbase without saying a word, I was able to reflect my thoughts on Gundam Versus a few years ago for a bit, since they obviously didn't care about updating the game anymore, nor did they give any notice that they stopped. So in the end, I genuinely believe Gundam Versus was just an experiment video game to see how the PlayStation 4 handles a Versus game before committing to release a game such as Maxi Boost on next-gen consoles. The worst case scenario is that they would have released a Maxi port sooner, but have it suffer from the same netcode issues that Gundam Versus has, which was way worse than full boost by the way, because when somebody was on McDonald's Wi-Fi, the netcode issues were so bad that you would sometimes have to stare at the map loading for at least a half a minute before being sent back to the lobby screen when you play online, all thanks to one person's awful internet connection. I definitely don't want nonsense like that happening when we play the Maxi port soon, and I'm sure you guys wouldn't either. So let's hope for the best that they learn how to improve the netcode in general, based off of Gundam Versus' past mistakes. So with that being said, I would like to announce that I've received a code for the NA closed beta that will be happening tomorrow and plan on checking out how the game plays. So I'm obviously pretty excited that I got one, because not only will this beta allow me to try out basically most of the suits in the game, but it will also allow me to gather a lot of footage for future videos that I will be making. This is also a really good opportunity for me to kind of play around with the new / modified game mechanics that Maxi Boost ON has to offer as well, such as the 3 different burst types. And if you're new to my channel, I am a longtime series veteran that has been playing the Extreme Versus game since I was a junior in high school, and I'm now a recent college grad. So I've definitely spent a great deal of time experiencing the changes to the Versus series over time. I typically create instructional videos for specific suits that are basically a TLDR on how to play them, with a lot of good examples and footage to back it up, which is why I personally believe people like watching them. I also like making videos covering the core fundamentals that the game offers in a way that a newcomer could understand them as well. When I make these videos, I try to leave out a lot of fluff if possible, but still leave in the critical info at the same time. In addition to those types of videos, I also release videos covering what I personally believe to be critical news related to the now current game Maxi Boost ON, as well as other fun stuff such as reviewing DLC suits, and also discussing notable topics related to the game. My goal here is to get people new to the game, or even people that have only played Gundam Versus, caught up to speed so that they can stand toe-to-toe with vets in Maxi Boost ON. Because trust me, if you have only played Gundam Versus, then you're going to find Maxi Boost ON kind of weird, but it's not really too much of a drastic change, to be honest. The 2 key differences between Gundam Versus and Maxi Boost ON that will throw GV players off is really just boost dive and selectable strikers, because those 2 things no longer exist in Maxi Boost ON. Instead of having strikers usable for every suit in the game, they now are only available to certain units, which are now called an assist, not a striker. And with boost diving gone, people will now have to use a variety of mechanics to cover their landings, such as fast falls, mechians, etc. And if you guys don't know what that means, don't worry, because I'll make videos covering those mechanics as well. But overall, I really like making informational videos because I personally like seeing people that I play against get better. And I also get to grow myself by teaching. So it's a fun and rewarding experience that I can't wait to do again when the game hits. So if you're interested in growing together in my own little community, then feel free to join my Discord channel, which will be found in the pinned comment below in the comment section. We're all pretty chill there and welcome newcomers, and our overall purpose as a group is to just have some fun playing Gundam while learning together at the same time. So I thought I'd also have a brief discussion about the many different types of content that will be included in the Maxi Boost ON port. So to be blunt, I found that I personally grew to just only like the online PvP aspect of the Versus games in general since the release of Full Boost. So I'm not really going crazy over the offline modes that are going to be available when the game releases. However, I can already tell the people that prefer these sort of offline / online co-op types of modes will really enjoy playing the new mission mode in the N-Bon port. You basically get to do missions with any suit from the roster that you can rack up experience points with, which will allow you to level them up and to also earn and equip stat modifying abilities such as an X amount of increased melee damage. There's also the traditional route mode or branch mode, which is basically what they've been having available since Vanilla Extreme Versus and also Full Boost and even Force. So this is what I typically played with some friends online back in Full Boost, because it was just a quick break from stressing too much from online matches, and really it was just pretty relaxing to do, honestly. Also, for the vets watching that played Full Boost, they also brought back the GP point system, which means there's some potential to try out DLC by renting them with those earned GP points over spending real money on them. And for those of you that aren't familiar with GP points, it was basically a late update that they added back in Full Boost near the end of its lifeline, which allowed players to earn GP points after playing pretty much anything online. You could use these points to buy cool stuff like Navigator costumes or HUD skins, and even rent DLC that costs actual money before spending any on them. So this is pretty promising for trying out DLC if they are going to go down that route for Maxi Boost ON. But something I personally found super good this time around was that GP points seem to be even more useful and have a stronger value, because not every Navigator or HUD skin back in Full Boost was attainable by GP points. But from what they've shown shown in the trailer, it seems like all navigators and HUD skins are up for grabs using GP points. So it looks like we're all going to save a lot of money this time around. So when the game officially hits, I'm probably going to spend GP points on the Stesia variant navigator that looks like she has crippling depression because she's a whole category of edge by herself. I'll probably use her for like 2 months before switching to something basic like Relina Peacecraft. While we are on the topic of navigators, I found it really neat that they translated what the navigators say by showing their dialogue during gameplay. And not only this, but characters can now have their dialogue translated in game whenever you activate a burst, or even when a match starts with a unique partner. So for example, Halfway Noah in the Kasi Gundam and Amare in the new Gundam have a unique character interaction that can be read somewhat when you start a match together. There's actually so many different interactions and special dialogue that the devs have thrown in since Vanilla Extreme Versus, and it's honestly hella good that we can finally read that because it's truly so freaking cool if you've seen all the Gundam shows, and when it all comes together, you can just really respect the way the characters interact with one another. In addition to navigators, the player customization options in Maxi Boost On are worlds better than full boost. They have so many cool emblems for pretty much every suit that you can put on your player card, as well as the best HUD skins or boost gauge skins that they've ever put on a ported Versus game. For me personally, I'm probably going to stick with the Banshee Nord HUD skin since it's my favorite Gundam, and also because there's literally a big ass NTD activated shield on the screen with matching yellow NTD armor panels. There's honestly so much love put into the customization this time around, and I'm hella pumped for it. Some people might not really care about stuff like this, but this is one of the main reasons why I loved playing full boost so much. It was because you were allowed to play around with stuff like this, and the one thing that was recently announced from Maxi Boost On Port was having personal BGM upload capabilities. Even I did not think they would really be able to pull this off, honestly, due to the way the PlayStation 4 is designed. I remember adding a lot of Tokyo Gold music to many suits that I played, and even changed the overall online music BGM to some Persona 4 soundtrack songs. So for this time around, I'm definitely going to set up my online menu BGM to the Season 2 Tekken 7 music character selection because it's pretty sick. The music BGM upload feature alone is honestly one of the best things that I loved about Full Boost when it was released, and I'm so thankful that they decided to put it back for the Maxi Boost On Port. Well, that concludes today's video. I just wanted to give some context for my absence from YouTube, along with a short little retrospect to Gundam Versus with some Maxi Boost On discussion as well. Overall, I'm really excited to get back into playing matches again where I don't have to worry about tracking being cut every 2 seconds by step diving. Honestly, saying that brings back so much nostalgia when I was playing suits like XS or Cheridum and got landing punish confirms via sniper shots. Every time I got one, it just felt hella good, to be honest. It's just so good to finally be able to get back to that same sense of fulfillment that I got playing full boost, where I can actually feel rewarded for timing things correctly. So with that being said, I would like to wish all of us a good new start to a new chapter for the NA Gundam community with the release of Maxi Boost On, and hope that we can grow the scene much bigger than we ever had in comparison to the past games. So please let me know how you guys felt about the things that I've discussed in today's video. I really like seeing new faces, and I've noticed I've got some silent viewers that often try to contact me on PSN from time to time, and I would like to just bridge that gap a bit. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel, join our Discord group, and to also follow me on Twitter to be kept up to date with new content that I will make in the future. Thank you all for watching. It's really good to be back into making Gundam videos again, and I hope to see some of you soon in the Maxi Boost On beta.